Hi, so I'm Tracy McIntyre. I'm the Executive Director of the Montana Cooperative Development Center. In 2020, we had the Montana Food Distribution Study completed. We did this study because we had been hosting conversations with about 35 rural grocery stores, and we really had identified some key issues. They were being too small to be served, increasing in purchasing prices, or there were some issues with where what their equipment was. At the end of the day, what the concern was is, do rural, remote, and reservation communities have access to food? We had already received a social disadvantaged group grant that we were able to pivot and put towards this study. We were in partnership with the Native American Development Corporation, and we brought on NCAT to go a little bit further. And through NCAT, we hired Native Ways Today, which is Linda Howard and Mariah Gladstone, to conduct the study. The purpose of the study was really to dig in and see what the existing distribution system were, how prices were, what was going on with our supply chain, and also to identify different opportunities and strategies. This study was done during the heart of the pandemic, so there was some issues with access to reservation and just a general leeriness about why we were out there doing different things. We did contact 39 grocers. 10 did not respond, but we did end up with 29 independent grocers responding. And as you can see from this graphic, we had a wide range across the state of Montana. Our major distributors that we had identified, there were 3, and you can kind of see that they're broke up into 3 different areas. We did a demographic of it, and overall 22 years were in operation, but we had some much older grocery stores, and the average distance to larger supermarket chain stores were 46 miles, some up to 90 miles. Overall, on local foods, 90% of the grocers are already selling local foods, but they did express that they would like to see more. However, there was a concern brought up that there was too much cost, pricing was too high, or the local supply to meet demand. And there was a little bit of concern on safety and certification issues. Overall, the grocers felt that they were getting fair pricing, though during the pandemic, some did see increases to buying requirements were posing problems and went to biweekly or started to partner with other grocery stores. COVID impacts, this was no shock to anybody. Experienced supply shortage, having severe supply chain, especially around meat. 4 small grocery stores actually did lose their primary suppliers. And then we heard other feedback, increasing competition. There was a lot of conversation about the dollar stores, labor shortages, rising construction prices, bank card processing fees. And then probably one of the big concerns for us is the inability to sell, run store, and retire. About 8 grocery stores expressed their desire to retire and what that means to those local communities. On the market basket survey, we definitely identified that if you were living on a reservation, you were paying a significant amount more than off-reservation communities. And then what is happening next? We are still partnering with NCAT. We did receive another SDGG, and so Mariah and Linda are on board with us again, and we're going to do a deeper dive and do some business planning and feasibility study to really see where we can move and find working solutions on the ground. For more information, there's my contact, and our study can be found on our website, mcdc.coop.
First line. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Swank. I recently graduated with a master's in science and sustainable food systems. My master's project was to explore the food security experience among Native college students while attending Montana State University. I am here to share my results of my study with you. First, let me tell you a little bit about why I conducted this research. I am from Crow and attended MSU as an undergraduate and graduate student. When I was an undergraduate attending MSU, I was hungry a majority of the time. I didn't know where or how to access food when I was hungry on campus. And it was very different from my experience in Crow, where I had a network of people to rely on. From firsthand experience, I knew it was hard to be a successful college student while being hungry. A couple of years later, I returned to obtain my master's and knew I wanted to better understand this problem. I wanted to document What is food security experience of other Native students, so I could identify ways to change the situation. According to the USDA, food insecurity is defined as having insecure or unreliable amounts of food on a daily basis. It is estimated that 25% of American Indian or Alaskan Native households are food insecure, much higher than 10.5% of households across the US population. This is because of the long history of colonialism and trauma that has resulted from high rates of poverty and low access to affordable and healthy food and many miles to obtain food, especially on tribal lands. The percentage of Natives that attend college after school is very low. About 17% of Natives attend college after high school compared to 60% of non-Native populations attending college after high school. Education leads to lower poverty rates and food insecurity. Given these known facts and my own experience, I wanted to support Native students in MSU and understand the problem of food insecurity and find solutions to promote successful academic experience, such as Bounty of the Bridgers, passes to the dining hall, events that serve food for all that attend, and the American Indian Center. These are places where you can access food while working or attending MSU. This is in addition to what exists in Bozeman. I used surveys and interviews to gather facts about my research. 61 Natives participated in the research. 80% were undergraduates and 16% were graduate students. The average age was 26 and 60% were male. It is important to note that a subset of participants had families, which introduces an extra challenge of being food secure. The income level of participants influences the ability to afford food was less than $2,000 a month. About half of participants identified as food secure and 49% identified as food insecure. This is an alarming rate of people that identified as food insecure, which is a problem. The overall diet was reported as unhealthy by 41% of the participants. There was no difference in the students reported eating food secure or food insecure. Stigma was identified by the participants around food assistance programs. Rather than getting food assistance if they were hungry, participants would rather go hungry, skip meals, or find an alternative food. Students provided several suggestions about what to do about food insecurity. Suggestions were made for the university to add more locations around campus that provided healthy, affordable food for many students, better marketing to inform students about the food assistance programs already in place, and to open a scholarship for students to apply for the dining hall pass, which is hard for many to afford. Suggestions were made for the American Indian Center, a place where MSU campus where many Native students go to receive academics and social support. Participants suggest that Native students were comfortable at the AIC. They could provide meals for activities, classes that would teach cooking for students who live in dorms or other places with limited cooking equipment, and provide food for students to access in between classes. It was suggested that everyone in our society could do their part in increasing awareness about food insecurity to decrease stigma. And where do we go from here? I would like to see enhanced efforts to increase access to affordable and healthy food options across campus. I hope that individuals take the finding of this research to create programs and policies that will improve food security on campus and to promote Native student success. We can all do our part to decrease stigma and raise awareness about the prevalence of food security and its negative impact on people. I would like to acknowledge all of the individuals and programs that supported my work. This work would not exist without you. Thank you. I'd love to answer any questions about my work. I provided my contact information. Please be in touch, and thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Hailey Vine, and I'm with Great Northern Development up in Wolf Point, Montana, and I'm the director for the Food and Agriculture Development Center. If you are not familiar with the FADCs, we are a network of 9 centers across the state that support producers in the food and ag industry by offering technical assistance, business planning, a variety of resources, and it's just our goal to help support our region's producers. So we conducted a regional food economy study. This past August, it kicked off with our consultants, and I'm just going to touch on that today. We undertook this study to better understand the food system landscape as what exists, what do people want, and what are the practical first steps. We conducted it for 3 reasons. We wanted to learn information to support the development of local food system in our area. We wanted to use the report as an internal facing document for strategic planning work done by our organizations. And we wanted it to be a guide and to inform the work of the Eastern Montana Food and Ag Development Center in our 11 county region. 11 counties is a big area to capture, and so this study was very encompassing. The study involved the following partners: the Montana Food and Ag Development Network, No Kid Hungry, which we are very grateful to have received an award to even fund this study, Great Northern Development, and Eastern Plains Economic. The study was informed by the experience, perspective, and knowledge of more than 415 people who offered their time through workshops, interviews, and surveys. We are very grateful for their time and support in this effort. So one thing that we found was that there are multiple examples in every county of people buying and selling foods locally, and food pathways are mostly small scale, but is an excellent place to start. We believe there's an opportunity for us to connect the dots across vast distances and work through inevitable challenges and barriers. 94% of the people who we were able to survey want to purchase local and regional food. Many are already finding ways to do that, and even more are interested. We see this as an opportunity for us to reinforce and develop this interest through continued communications and education. But it's not just consumers that are interested in local. Producers are as well. As they say, it makes sense from a financial, economical, and/or emotional standpoint. As one producer mentioned, keeping distribution local would be an honor. It's great to see what's currently active with those who are engaging, and every success should be celebrated that has been started. The majority of farmers and ranchers in the region produce at commodity scale, while some producers have interest in local, regional, and value-added activities. Diversification development of new pathways requires capacity and risk, and not all producers are entrepreneurs or have the time and patience to work through those logistics. So that's where the FADC comes in hand. We believe the coordination, support, and facilitation offered by us, combined with grant-funded planning and research and development, will be invaluable to accelerate the development of value-added in our region. The sparse populations limits the pool of workers, volunteers, and champions. There's limited capacity that impacts development of new food and value-added ag-related businesses at various levels. So we believe that our programs will be a vital role to add capacity, increase skills, knowledge, and connections, and support that community leadership. And the report has multiple intermediate, short-term and long-term recommendations for our next steps. And in summary, there is a huge potential for us to strengthen our regional food system by supporting innovation and collaboration, and through the communication, education, technical assistance, and champion leaders in our industry. We want to say a special thanks again to No Kid Hungry for helping us in this effort, and to everyone who is involved. If you would like to see a report, it will be dropped in a chat. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.